I first started off by cleaning my desk. I began by wiping it down and removing all of the clutter on it. I laid out all my pencils, got my desk set up with lights and my laptop. I then began to search on the Michaels website for different boards I would need to draw on. I eventually found everything I needed. After a few minutes of searching, I found some pencils that would be perfect for this project. I then began to find some inspiration of other pictures that I thought would be perfect for this project. I really like drawing monsters and demons. That is my favorite kind of subject to draw. I then drove myself to Michael's. I entered the store and I tried to find what I needed. I eventually found the drawing board that I needed. After a few minutes of shopping, I arrived back home and began to set up my board. I cleared my desk and put the board on. I set up all my things, along with the pencils I got and my laptop. I sharpened all the pencils and started to draw. I then arranged all the pencils, markers, and erasers that I needed. I first began to set up my first draft. I started thinking and drawing out the proportions I thought the monster would be. It took me a few tries to perfect what I needed, but I eventually got it. I first thought of drawing two different creatures, but then I realized that it'd be a lot of work for this project, and I just wanted to focus on drawing one creature and perfecting the details and proportions on it. So I began sketching out what I needed. I first started off with shaping the creature's head. I used my laptop to look at different creatures that already exist, like bears and crocodiles, to get the mouth proportions right. I then began sketching out the body. At first I was going to draw another creature beside it, but then I decided to erase it so I can just focus on the body of this creature that I was already drawing. I then began perfecting the body. This involved shading and outlining all the creature's proportions. This whole entire project was based off of my own ideas in my own mind, while I looked on the internet for different bears and crocodiles just to get the teeth and the mouth proportions to look a little bit realistic. I then looked at different pictures of Venom. He's my favorite comic book character, and I liked the way that they draw the eyes on him, so I took inspiration for that for the eyes. I then set up Netflix and began doing all the details on the face. I started to draw out the legs. I thought of doing something unique for the legs. I took inspiration from centipedes and drew their kind of legs. The rest of this is pretty self-explanatory. I just finished outlining the body and drew all the horns and started shading in everything. Drawing can be a way of expressing your emotions and how you feel. It could also make you feel better, as you're not worrying about the outside stress of life and are just simply focusing on finishing your drawing. For people who are interested in drawing, I would tell them that you can definitely do it. There are so many different art styles out there, and you have to learn to love your own style. I have my own style, and I eventually learned to love it and appreciate it, because not all artists are the same. Everyone is different with their styles. Whether you're doing cartoon, comic books, realistic portraits, whatever it is, just love what you do. I then started finishing my final outline and started shading in and doing all the details on the creature. Finally, after about 6 hours in between my days, I finished it. I really loved the final way it came out, and it was definitely a long and hard process, but it was all worth it in the end.